So what's on the chopping block today? One Ruckus and one Torment to go. Alright, so yeah guys, I kind of ran her a little too hard here. There ain't really much I can do about it either. I just decided to throw a 3S in it if my buddy was over here. There's your specs on it if y'all want to ring up your hobby shop and get you one of those. I don't really recommend it unless you want to go fast. 2S will do you just good. I don't get why she likes these things so much. But, straight down to the point. You saw me then that little time lapse there, and what I did, excuse me, is I tore the drive shaft, well, namely that pin right there. That little guy down there, oh, focus, no. No. Oh. But anyways, that little circular pin down there that holds the sliding collar, this guy right here, onto your actual output shaft on your transmission there. I lost that thing as soon as I gunned it with a 3S in it. And, well, prior to that, this had slid off at some point. Ooh, don't go down too far there, buddy. And wreaked havoc. And it just popped out and I lost the pin. So, I need to crimp that down a little better because it didn't really work too well. But lucky me, I had a rebuild kit, or what's called a rebuild kit, on hand. Let me get that a little better. Oh, but anyways, there's this collar that goes over that pin. The pin's already in it because it has a new pin. There's another pin right there, but that is for your output shaft. That is for this guy to come off the differential and actually work when it's connected to the rest of the drive shaft. And then there's your O-ring down there to seal off all your other drive shaft components on the top there. But anyways, that was a quick fix. Took it apart, put the new pin in, slapped it back together. I'm going to tear that apart and grease it at some point though. But then we jump over here. This is cringeworthy. I blew the transmission in this thing, or so I think. You can hear right now. Diff works perfectly fine. You can hear the motor spinning right now. I mean, it acts like it works, but no, it doesn't. Whenever you give it any throttle, it'll sit there on the floor and just grind gears. You can hear it loud as day. If that's even an analogy. Forgive me if it's not an analogy. Yeah, works fine, doesn't it? This thing's really wobbly. It's seen better years. The rear end's just worn out. It's been through 2 or 3 motors and 2 transmissions already. Maybe a third. So I have yet to decide what I need to do, but I know one thing, and that's I need to get this screw out because he's stuck in there. It's threaded in there and it's stuck. So I have to tap it out and rethread it with whatever tool you'd use. I can't remember. I think I'd just drill it out one size bigger and then put a screw that size in it, and it should thread itself in. Well, once that covers off, I inspect the pinion and the spur gear, and I can move on to the transmission if they're fine, which is kind of a bad thing because I don't want to dig into that. I have cracked that open before, as I've said earlier, but I'm not really anticipating opening it again because I don't really want to, just as anybody else does. This thing's due for a rebuild. It's just worn out. And the T-Max. The only problem I have with it so far, if I get in there, ground wire for the glow plug is shot. I just wore it out from bashing. Well, mainly flipping it over while it was up here on top of that head, right up there. And it just scraped the wiring off. You know, my bad. I gotta get a new wire. But what happens is whenever you start it up, it'll work fine. After it's run for a while and it's jiggled a little loose, those wires become bad, and it won't start because the glow plug quits working. So, new wire on me. And I gotta fix a battery that my buddy busted by accident, you know, no big deal. I think what's going to end up happening is I'm probably going to buy the new connectors for it. But that's okay. At this point, I don't really care. Those really should be replaced anyways. I shouldn't even try to solder that back up anyhow. Oh, and there's a little bonus here. This space right on my finger literally needs no preload clips. That's just to cover up. This little fitting right here, that guy stays right in place. He does not move an inch. That is your base plate right there. So your preload actually comes into effect on the bottom part. Now, don't call me stupid, but yeah, I am in this instance. I just realized that that's actually stuck there. I always thought that was some sort of divider between them, but I pulled them off and it does nothing. So I got extra preload clips. I took 2 off the front too. Rule of thumb is, whenever your front end gets compressed and is let back up slowly, it should come parallel with your chassis. So that's pretty much flat. And if you let it spring, it actually goes all the way back up. So I'm not complaining. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. That's a little extra snidbit there on the end.